My name's Larry, and I'm going to be changing the shift bushings on my Suzuki Cappuccino as the bushing seems to have perished, and so it's difficult to shift out of second. And so today, by the way, this is a 1993 Suzuki Cappuccino. I'm going to be, I have to take off the shifter and pull up this molding, and then I'm going to add some, it's called it's a kit from Japan. It's about $60. I got it on eBay. I'll make a link, and I'll add that. I'll put this bushing set in there. It's supposed to make it shift better. We'll see. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the screws here and the shifter knob, and then there's some screws in the back. I have to move the seat forward, but there's a screw here. And then there's some screws underneath here that you have to take out under the rubber, and then you can pull the whole console up. And I'll start that now. I'll remove them while I'll remove them now. I can't hold the phone, so I'll get back to you after I remove all the screws. By the way, to remove the shift lever is really easy. You just grab it and turn hard, and it screws right off. Off right now. It's a lot of spinning, and you can put Loctite on it when you put it back on. And then there's a lot of trash under here, but if I remove it all, you'll see under the rubber here, if I can get it off, sorry, man, that's in there. There we go. There's 2 screws here you gotta remove. Okay, I've removed all the screws from here, inside here, and back here, and on both sides. And now I have to lift the console up. You'll see it'll come up, but don't pull too hard because it's still connected here, so you gotta be careful of that. And then you have to pick this up and work it out. I'm actually gonna put the back down. Those of you who don't know Suzuki Cappuccinos, you can actually put the glass down here, so that'll make it easier, I think, for me to get back here. And I'll do that. I can't do it with one hand, so I'll put the phone down and do it. I was able to get the console off. Now I just have to remove these bolts with this ground to get to the shifter. There's actually 2 sets, so I'll remove this and another set. And again, I'll do that with I'll do that off camera. Once you've removed the 10mm bolts, you can just take this out. This is a rubber piece, and you just work this out like this, and then you can pull this first part up out of the, or just keep it with the shifter. That's easier. And then there's another rubber part you have to remove, and then there's 3 bolts underneath that, and I'll show that to you shortly. I'm gonna have to do this off camera. Well, maybe I can get it. Let's see. You can see you have to pull it. It's like a rubber grommet, but I can't get it. All right, I'll have to do it off camera, and then I'll show you. Actually, I think you can see the 3 bolts here. There we go. I got that. So this will come off. You just have to work it out. There you go. And then you'll see below there's 3 more 10mm bolts you got to remove, and then you can get the shifter out. As you can see, I have the 10mm bolts. Take these bolts out, and they come right out. And I'm putting mine in a magnetic bowl so that I don't lose these parts. You see, it's really filthy in there. I'm going to use a needle nose to remove the washers here. I don't want to lose them just in case, so I'm saving them. And then this thing inside, I can just pull it out by, here you'll see. Actually, I can probably just shove my finger there to pull it out. Let's see. Yeah, it's coming out with my finger. Yeah. The hard part's going to get it past these washers, which I can't do. Why? It should be able to go right by, but I can't get it by. That means I have to ease those out. Sorry, I can't get those through. So I'll have to ease. There's 2 washers on each side. I don't want to lose this. So there's 2 washers on each side. I'm going to have to ease those out, but I'll mark it where they were so I remember. and then I'll get rid of that, all the gum. You can see it's deteriorated inside. It's really filthy. It's going to take a little bit of time to clean. I've marked the 12 millimeter bolts so that I can know exactly where they were and put them back to where they were. You'll see the pen marks. I also did it on the inside and the outside, so at least I'll be close to where they were, so it'll be easier to adjust later. I learned something. So with these bolts, you don't really have to mark them because they're all the way tight, and that means that they're just right where they're supposed to be. So you just tighten them all the way, and it should be perfect on the shifter, so you don't really have to mark them. So I'm just loosening them up so I can slide everything out. I was able to get most everything out just using a vacuum. I had to use a short device like this, or a short needle screwdriver to remove the bottom part here, but it came out pretty quick when I did. So now I'm just going to clean it up with a paper towel, make it nice and clean in there, and then I'll show you how to install it. So the kit didn't come with any instructions, but there was a photo on the website. So it has a list of how the items are supposed to go. So you can see that these go here. The black part goes here on the bottom, and these are on each side. So and then these, I'll show you the order of these when I do it. So I'll go put it together. Okay, it also comes with a silicone grease. Honestly, it doesn't say where to put it, so I have to assume it has to go on the ball and the end here, which I'll do. Here's the order that you have to get it in here. So it's going to be this, it has to drop it through here, through the shaft. So then it'll be the washer, the spring, the spacer, and then you just put the exact same one as this on the other side, and then the black spacer here on the bottom. So here's how I put it together: the spacer, the spring, the washer, both of these cup holders, and then the bottom part. As you can see, I dropped the black bushing in there. You can see it's lined up. And then I've added a little bit of grease onto the races here. And I'll drop this in and then tighten up the sides. And that should be it. So it just drops right in. As you can see, I've dropped in the bottom bushing, and then I have the race in here, the bottom race, and I've added grease. Now I'm going to tighten up these screws all the way so that I can align the shifter into these slots. And then I can put in the spring on top, and we should be done. And then before you drop in the shifter, you got to add the plastic bushings onto these little nubs here. I'll do one at a time so I don't drop them. I'm going to use a needle nose as well. I have the plastic bushings on. Make sure you have the shifter facing the right way. It should be angled slightly to the right. And so that'll be in the center, as you can see. And you can see I just dropped it in. I'm going to put the top race in, which I'm doing now. That'll go in. And then I'm going to align the spring and the bushing. And that's it. Put it back together in reverse, and it should be done. It's all sitting flush. I'm going to drop this part on, and then just make sure that it's aligned correctly. This bottom hole is pointing down, and then I'll test it. As you can see, I've buttoned it all up. I just got to put the console back on, and then I'll test to make sure everything shifts correctly. But it looks like it feels really good now. Nice and precise. So a lot better than it was, as you can guess. As you can see, I got the console all together. I've actually test driven the car, and it's really nice and smooth now. So yeah. And then the reverse, I couldn't believe how smooth it went in. So I was very impressed with it. Like, just popped right in. And so yeah, it's so nice now. Everything it's very precise shifting. Recommended. I'll have the links to where I bought it, where I got the kit on eBay, if you guys want to get it.